Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here at the 2020 Miami International Boat Show doing a top 5 outboard video of the show. Man, since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with outboards. We had a little 7.5 on a 14-horse Lund boat, and I remember driving past some of these big ones that were like 100 horsepower, thinking like, they're never gonna be able to get ones bigger than that. Those old big two-strokes smoked like crazy, and you couldn't even stay behind them for about 100 yards. But anyway, let's get back to the top 5. Number 5, we got the Evinrude Tiller Editions. I believe it goes from 100 to 150. It's got a tiller, but it can also go regular, hydraulic steering. Power steering's awesome, but it has a little disconnect. Even if your power steering does go out, you can disconnect it, and you can still drive your motor and get yourself back to shore. I love the durability, the simplicity, and the lightness of tiller motors. It can also be rigged to go on any other boat. The two-stroke is lighter, more powerful out of the hole. It's great technology. And it's something that, especially on smaller boats, lighter boats, it really makes a lot of sense, especially when lower maintenance. You don't have to change your oil all the time. And I believe the first service on an Evinrude two-stroke is like 500 hours or something. So, low maintenance, fast, cheaper. I mean, they're good motors. It's something I grew up with fishing up north, especially the tillers. They're great motors. Definitely check them out. All right, number 4 on my list, the Honda 250. They have completely redesigned this thing, and it's got all kind of bells and whistles and technology built in. It's got an app where you can put it on your boat and it'll measure your builds and all kind of crazy stuff. The technology that Honda has is something I've always been a big fan of. I've always been a big Honda car guy. I had a set of 150 Honda Outboards on my catamaran, my older catamaran, before I bought my new one, and I loved them. They were super fuel efficient. They were super quiet, just like the cars. Honda Civics, Honda Pilots. Those are the type of cars that I own, or I'll own a full-size truck. Honda is always working on refining their engines and making them the best. Sheer engine-wise, Honda's the best engine, 100%, when it comes to the technology in the engine and the longevity of the engine itself. I know guys that have commercial ferry boats, and they've got 3,000-4,000 hours on their Honda 150, and the 250s are redesigned to be even better than that. These things will last forever if you take care of them. And they got great fuel economy, which makes the cost of ownership lower on Honda than most of the other engines of this class. All right, number 3 on the list. I couldn't make a top 5 outboard list without having some tillers on there. The Suzuki 90 horsepower Cargo Edition is made for, think Panga style boats that they have in South America and Mexico. 25-foot boat, open boat, but they need something that can really push a lot of weight because they load these things up with all kind of dive gear and they use them as ferries. I mean, this 25, 26-foot Panga that they use all over South America is probably the most popular boat in one of the most popular boats in the world. They've designed this thing to run at higher speeds with heavier weights. And it's really cool because you see these Pangas driving right up on the beach in Mexico. They've designed this motor with a gas assist to lift the skeg up with a motor when it hits the sand. So they can drive right on the beach without ever trying to hit the tilt or trim, which is amazing. Plus, it's just, I'm one of the people that is a big believer in efficiency. And if you're gonna have to do offshore stuff, especially for commercial purposes, you need a smaller horsepower engine that doesn't use a ton of gas, that has the most power, that can push a real big, heavy bowed boat loaded to the hilt. This thing will get it done. I lived on Dog Island, water access only, for a year. One of my neighbors had a 25-foot Panga, and he had a 90 horse on that thing. He'd be out there in 10, 12 footers in his 25-foot Panga. I'd be out there in my catamaran, and he could hold his own pretty good. If you need a motor that's very value-oriented to put on a boat to go offshore, 90 horsepower Suzuki Cargo motor is the motor for you. They're gonna sell a ton of these things. It might not be super popular in the US, but I'm a big fan. Listed the Yamaha 425. The only reason the Yamaha didn't get number 1 is because of the extra horsepower, honestly. Yamahas are probably the premier engine on the market for durability, longevity, probably have a little bit better resale value than Mercury, but it's close. Yamahas I've had for a long time. I've had 100 horsepower Yamahas, 25 horsepower Yamahas, and they're great motors. I mean, you can't beat them. They do tend to be a little bit more on the pricier side to own and maintain, and that's one of the other reasons they're down on the list, a little bit lower. And honestly, I'm from the Midwest, and Mercury's from the Midwest, so they get a little edge that way too. And I grew up fishing with Mercury motors on every boat, probably till I was about 30 years old. The number 1 outboard at the show, I took it out on the Invincible. It had 4 of them, the Mercury 450. Man, that thing is fast. I felt like I was going back in time. We were going about 80 miles an hour. You know, this motor's got a lot of technology built into it. You can't really put words to the technology and the feel and the experience of having all that power behind you, rocking you through the water at 80 miles an hour. The wild card, the Tohatsu 115, they've been making better and better engines. They are stepping up their game and they're really working hard to refine, and they've done that. They've got this brand new 115 out that has ram air injection. It's kind of like having headers on your outboard. It's a really cool engine. It looks awesome. I haven't experienced this outboard on a boat yet because it wasn't on any of the catamarans that I took out, but I'm really excited to see what this thing can do. All right, here's a couple other honorable mentions. OXO Diesel Outboard engines. They're super cool. They're a little pricey, but they're coming down. And I know some of these bigger, like heavier boats that do like ferries and stuff are going to start doing these diesel engines. Those also got these Torqeedos, I believe is how you say it. They've got these electric engines, and the technology I've been following for a few years. They're really super cool. You know, you can't really do like offshore stuff, but if you're doing even bay trips, it's something you could do. It's a electric outboard engine. Thanks for watching. We got many more videos from the 2020 Miami International Boat Show. Go ahead and hit the bell notification so you can get an update when they all come out. Go ahead, go over to Ballistic Ink so you can pick up a shirt, help support the channel. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Resort Vacation Properties of St. George Island, Brownells, Salt Life. And again, guys, if you believe that living a waterful life isn't something you just do for fun, but it's who you are, please like, subscribe, and share my channel below so we can help inspire just that.